Summertime breezes are blowing, the grandkids are giggling, food's being cooked, and I'm looking forward to seeing you right here at my Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme house. Hi, guys. This is Leona Dooley at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, and we're having a great summer. In spite of the pandemic, we are going to enjoy ourselves. We are enjoying our time together with family, as well as trying to social distance. We haven't seen anybody. If they are not an immediate family member, we just haven't seen them, unless it's on Zoom. So it's been quite interesting. It's an interesting summer. But you know, the cool thing is that as a couple, as a family, we've had an opportunity to really spend quality time. Just kind of talking about things, seeing where everybody is, what's going on. We've had cousin visits virtually where the grandkids have had a chance to visit with each other, and they did it virtually, and it was so much fun. It was fun for me just watching them, watching how they interacted, and the excitement, because they haven't seen each other. And for those of you who have been with the channel for a while, you know that typically, sorry, there's a plane going overhead, but you know that typically the kids come to the beach for the summer, or at least a month during the summer. And the kids are missing that because, let's face it, Myrtle Beach is blowing up. So we are not going to the beach. So we're staying right here at home and enjoying what we have here. So they have had an opportunity to come and to visit, and we're looking forward to more visits. So what we're doing are just little short visits with the children, and just giving their parents a break, because they have been teaching, they have been working, they have been trying to do all of it, and they need weekends. They need some time to just kind of have a moment to breathe. I have one more who's quite a distance away. I wish I could do the same thing for her, but unfortunately, because of the distance, that just doesn't seem to work out. And so we have been to see them, but I was not able to bring her back with me, which I think that would have been fun. So, but we'll work that out. That time's coming. That's the baby. So she's excited. She was glad to get to see her cousins, and was going 100 miles a minute. So that was a good time, just getting to see her excitement and ready to go. Now, guys, let's think about the channel and things that we're doing. I am doing a little switch up. You know, it's I get bored real quick. I had the spring, did it. I had the first part of the summer and done. And so now I'm just kind of tweaking things and getting a few things ready, switching out a few reefs, bringing in some other things. I have a reef to make that's going to be coming up. Of course, there's still food. We eat. We have to eat, and so we are going to have that opportunity to do that. So I am just looking forward to spending every minute that I can with you, because let's face it, what we have is all about family. We've had church together, we've had fun together, and whether it's virtual or not, we spend time, and that's the main thing. So I'm looking forward again to having you. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm hoping that you will subscribe and become a part of our family. For those of you who are tried and true, I hope that you're going to continue to share the videos, and that you will invite others to come and to watch as well, and join us right here in the home of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, where we work hard, we love God and family, and we know without a doubt that everything else is just gravy. So I'll see you soon. This is the best drink ever. This is the limoncello LaCroix that is out for the summer. And I had a surprise. It was so cute. When my granddaughter came, she said, "Mimi, I've got something in my backpack for you." And it says, let me show you, Fabulous Mimi. And the Mimi is blinged. I don't know if you can tell it, but it's got some bling to it, and it's got some little twinkle to it. So I am going to pop open this LaCroix right here with you, and we are going to have a nice, refreshing limoncello LaCroix together. Hear that fizz. I tell you what, it is one. We have certainly enjoyed this deck. We've had meals on the deck, and I've spent as many moments as possible. I'll show you some of the pictures because the kids have played on the deck. The girls have had a ball, and they have played with some of the doll houses that when the older kids were little that they played with, and they pulled those things out and you would have thought they had not seen them ever because they played all day long. I turned the fans on out here. See if I can get you up there. Turn the fans on and just allowed them to have a good time. So, cheers to you from the fabulous Mimi. That is refreshing. That's the limoncello LaCroix. It is so good and such a wonderful summer drink. If you did not check out my video where I construct and create this centerpiece, then you'll want to do that. I will put it at the end of the video as well as list it down below as some summertime creations that are coming about. So please make sure that you go back and check out how we put that together. I do believe the fun thing about coming to Mimi's house is the fact that old toys are always available. And this was a girl's opportunity to pull out the Dora house. The Dora house has swimming, it has a horse horse and saddle, and a place for the horses. There were tons and tons and tons of Doras, which the girls thought were so funny. We had birthday Doras. We had cowgirl Doras. We had party Doras. And every kind of Dora you could possibly think of, we had it. And so the funny thing was that they set up their own little Dora ranch. And with their ranch, they were able to just spend hours out on the deck and imagining being at that ranch. There were conversations. There was just so much creativity taking place. And it just gave me an opportunity to enjoy and sit back and watch their little minds create. And that's what it's really all about. Lots of creative time. The big guy even got into the act. He pulled out the grill and put on some hot dogs and hamburgers, and the kids were just thrilled. Anytime he's on the grill, they are little happy campers, and they just watch and bounce around and waiting for Papa to get the food ready. So he's out there making those preparations and enjoying every moment. Now, according to Papa, apple pie is only baked when the kiddos are here. And he may have a point to that. But there was apple pie for dessert. The two other grandchildren are not close. So therefore, and it takes almost 2 hours just to drive to where they are. So most of the conversations have to be virtual. And so the kiddos had a great time because normally at this time of the year, all of them would be at the beach with us. And we would have them for anywhere from 2 to 3 and sometimes 4 weeks, just depending on how many little sad eyes come about. But you know what? The good thing is that while we hate the coronavirus and what it's doing to families across the world, it is also bringing families together, but just in a different way. So we are using technology in order to connect with other parts of our family. And you know, it's amazing. They've played dolls virtually. They have read books virtually. They have just had general giggles and conversation virtually. Family does what family does, and they seem to do it pretty well. Always sad when it's time to take the kiddos home, as well as they're not real happy about going home all the time either. But you know what? In a couple of weeks, they'll be right back in our house. Now, let's prepare our broth because after all, the broth is the most important part of the soup. The first thing that I'm going to do is to enhance the broth. So in order to do that, I have 2 small onions that I'm going to place in to my crock pot. And this is not necessary. It is the 30-minute version in that you can put it all together and kind of walk away from it. And that's what I need to do today. Then I'm going to add in 2 boxes of chicken stock. And this is just the Food Lion variety, whatever store variety that you wanted. This was some of that I got when the pandemic first struck, and I needed to have some stock on hand. So that's 1 box. And you can add in as much as you need for your family because, you know, broth never goes bad. Now, this particular version, this is my enhanced version. And then I will give you instructions on how to really cut it down to 30 minutes because you really can do this in 30 minutes. But I wanted the longer, more enhanced version because I knew the flavors would be better. So there's the second box of broth. Now, the reason I'm not totally filling this up to the top is because of the fact that I'm guessing by the time I get my chicken into this pot, into this crock pot, it's probably going to bring it up to the level that I want. Now I'm going to add 4 chicken thighs. And I'm taking out the package, and in fact I pulled them out of the freezer. So to be honest with you, I'm thinking I may even have to just kind of rinse them off a little bit to make sure that they're able to break. So I'm going to break these up and I will bring you right back. All right, my chicken thighs are ready to go in. So I'm going to put in the 4 chicken thighs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I actually have just a little bit more space. Let me get rid of this, get it into the water so it can never want a lot of chicken juices or those kind of things around. So I'm going to very quickly wipe down my surfaces and I'm just going to remove this. Now I'm going to add in some pepper and some ginger. I have placed in the crock pot up to this point the 8 cups of chicken stock. That's box chicken stock, 4 chicken thighs, and 2 small onions because I didn't have a large or a medium onion, so I had 2 little tiny ones, so they're in. I have added in a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper as well as a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and just given that a little stir. we are going to add in garlic. We're going to put in the ginger. You're going to see how I chop that up. So let's take a look. All right, you're going to see that in the crock pot, I'm moving it back so that you can see how I'm going to cut up the ginger. I'm first going to, this is about a 3-inch piece of ginger that I'm just going to start to slice into small, thin slices. I think it'll be a lot easier for us to pull all of the ginger flavor out, and they'll be easy to find when it's time to fish everything out of the stock, because we are going to take everything out of this stock before dinner time. Now I'm taking those slices and then I'm just going to cut them into like little small shreds almost, but still large enough for us to fish out. So then we're going to take that, we're going to put it into the crock pot and give that a good stir. We're going to need some garlic, and this is going to sound like an amazing amount of garlic, but you'll figure it out. You're going to need about 6 cloves of garlic. Now I'm going to use my minced garlic, and typically it says to use about 1 teaspoon per clove of garlic, and but after you'll see when I started to measure it out, it just looked like it was way too much. So I did what I thought was about 6 cloves of garlic. Now obviously, if you don't like garlic, you can leave it out, or you can add more, or you can use less. So I started trying to be pretty accurate with the garlic, but you know what? It's not going to work out accurately. It's not a powder, so it just doesn't do quite that well. So I have 2 teaspoons adjusted, and then 1 heaping, and that's it. That's all I'm going to worry about, because I can smell the garlic, and the big guy came through and he's over there moaning about the smell of garlic, and so I know he's going to like it when it's all over with. But it's that initial whiff of garlic that always just knocks you right on your feet, off your feet. So I'm going to put that away, and he's working on a few things as well, and but not for dinner. He's getting coffee ready and just kind of messing around. So he's in the kitchen, I'm in the kitchen, and we're just enjoying the day and having time together. So I am bringing over, you'll see in just a second that I'm still doing a little bit of chopping and dicing, and we're going to add a little more. There we go. All right. So I have some limes that were in my refrigerator, and they were just a little dry, and so I threw the whole things in, and I mean the zest, the works, all in. So here's a little more pepper, because we do like pepper, and these are large flakes, so we're going to add and sprinkle in that bit of pepper. It's going to take a little while, and you know what? We should add a pot or 2 of red pepper, and I do have some, so I'm going to get those and put those in, and as long as they remain whole, you won't get as much heat. It's going to be warm but not spicy hot. Now the big guy likes that. I'm not a hot person, I just don't like food that's too hot. So I'm going to measure out my soy sauce. This particular soy sauce is a tamari, which is a very dark, deep soy sauce, and that's what I have, and that's what I'm going to use, because that is what was available at that time. So we're going to add in about 1/8 of a cup of soy. So I've got my 1/4 cup. I'm going to fill that about up halfway and place that in. Now, once we get to the end and everything has had a chance to bubble and boil for several hours, Then I will taste it and decide whether or not I need more, but I don't think so. Now, when I serve this, I'm going to have some lime on the side so that we can add that. There'll be some scallions and all kinds of good things are going to go next to this bowl of soup. So just get ready. There's our little pods. You can see I've got quite a few. So I am just going to pick out 2 and place them into the soup. There we go. There's 1 and 2. And I'm going to put the top on it, and it's going to be ready to cook right here on the counter. When I returned from my errands that I had to run, I came back in. I had been gone about maybe 4 or 5 hours, and this is what I found: a bubbling mixture of wonderful chicken broth that had been enhanced with the flavors that we had put into this crock pot earlier. So we are about to take this to another level. So let's get going. Now that we have removed all of the other substances like the chicken, the ginger, the garlic, the carrots, onions, and of course the lime, we're going to try to fish everything out of this pot. Now you know what's going to happen. We're going to need to filter this and put it through a mesh filter. So I'm going to take you over to the sink, and there we go. We're trying to pour it off. I had a pot that was down, a pan that was down underneath. It was way too tiny. So I'm going to have to pour that off and then do it again so that I'll have enough room. But we're going to take our filtered substance and we're going to empty all the little particles that we can out of it. So let's get all of that in. See all that garlic? Okay. Now, so let's take as much juice off, and we're ready to go on to that part that would normally be the 30-minute meal part. Now, if you had just done this with a 30-minute meal, then you would have poured your stock. You would have added a few flavorings in. You could have used a dry garlic, dry ginger. You would probably still want a little bit of lime juice in there, maybe some carrots in there just for the cooking time. Now you'll notice that I'm going to add another box of chicken stock, and that's because at this point the enhanced broth is intense. Now, if you like it extremely intense, and you can make that determination, but we like a lot of broth. So that's the reason why I'm going to cut it and place another box of chicken stock into it. So there we go, we're putting that in. I'm going to give that a little stir and just turn it back up so that can come to a boil. Put the top on it and let it cook for a little while. Now, it's not going to take long. Now notice I've taken out my rice noodles. I'm going to split that in half, and these are linguinis, and we're going to split that in half. We're going to cook it for about 7 minutes. So while that's cooking, I'm going to just cut up and shred the chicken, and because I'm going to place that chicken back into the broth. So I'm trying to make sure that most of the fat and the skin, those kind of things, are off the chicken. And should they reappear in the pot, then I can just take a spoon and filter it out. Now, if we had time, and I had done this maybe a day in advance, then I could actually get that broth nice and cold and then taken the fat off, which because the fat would have come to the top of the container and we could have just lifted it right off. But we're not waiting until tomorrow. We're going to eat it today. So I'm going to finish up those 4 chicken thighs and get them ready to go back into the pot. Now that's going to be the only thing that I'm going to add back into the crock pot. It's going to be the chicken. So I'm just breaking that up. You could have used chicken breast. I had thighs, so that's what I used. And so whatever part of the chicken that you have available, that's the part that you use. This is a great dish for being able to use your chicken. And the good thing is that because it's going back into the soup, nothing is dry. So you do not want dry chicken. So we're just taking all of that apart, making sure I get any gristle or bone out of our chicken mixture. Now, you're thinking probably soup in the summer, but you know what? Soup is satisfying no matter what. And some days, that's a great meal to have. You just get your soup, a nice big bowl, and it just warms the body. And not to the point of where you're hot or that it's going to make you sweat, but it just makes you feel very comforting. And because of the fragrances, the ginger and the garlic, those are very heartwarming spices to have in your soup. Now, the rest of that is going to go into the trash. Now, so I'm adding the chicken back in, as you can see, and I thought maybe I would only do half, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put all of it in. I thought, well, let me stir, let me see what I have. And you can see I've got little particles of chicken that are floating to the top. That's okay. But I decided to go ahead and add the rest. And I do have a rotisserie chicken in the refrigerator that I am going to use later for some chicken salad. So let's just take a moment. I'm going to take the spoon, and these are some little pieces that are floating to the top. And I'm just going to take my spoon and try to get most of that off. And of course, I could have taken a cloth, poured it through the cloth, but you know what? This is a quick meal. So no, I didn't do that. And to be honest with you, it didn't affect the soup whatsoever. But if you really want a clear, perfectly clear broth, that's what you'd have to do. Now I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of soy sauce, additional soy sauce, and a pinch of raw sugar, because what the raw sugar will do is that it will help to take away any little bitterness that might be in your soup. Now our rice noodles are ready. We're going to place them into our serving bowls, and this is really, I cooked just enough rice noodles for 2. And I could have cooked the whole package. If there were 4 of us, there was certainly more than enough soup for 4, because I actually ended up with additional containers of soup. But we're going to just use what we have, and I tried to make sure I stayed within a reasonable amount. Now I thought of something that we may want to add to the garnish on this soup. So just you wait and see. Now, I've cut up carrots. I've shredded those up. I cut up green onions or scallions, whichever you call them. So I'm scooping out our soup into the bowl. The rice noodles, I have enough time to soak up those juices, because you know rice has a tendency to just soak up juices very quickly. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to sprinkle the garnishes around. I have carrots. I'm going to put a little topping of carrots. I also have radishes. which if you go to a Chinese restaurant and get pho, these are the things you're going to have, and green onions. So those things are going to go at the top of our bowl. What a pretty bowl. So let me do the other one. Put in the soup, making sure to get plenty of chicken. Oh, nice and hot, nice and hot. Everything smells so good. Okay. Then I'm giving Papa just a little bit extra. And we're going to go and we're going to dress that bowl out with our carrots, our radishes, and our green onions. Now, you know what? We need a little something extra. So, let me think about that. I know just what we're going to do. We are going to add a bit of red garlic sauce, red chili garlic sauce. And you'll see where I put a little teaspoon of that right there at the top. It adds color, but most of all, it is going to take this bowl of Asian chicken soup over the top. Does that not look good? Can you smell it? Oh my goodness, it smells divine. Absolutely divine. Now, I hope you're going to join us right here at this table at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, and that you are going to love this Asian chicken salad. We are enjoying summer. I hope you will enjoy it with us. For those of you who are tried and true, thank you for being a part of our family and for joining us today. For those of you who are new, I hope that you have already subscribed, already liked, and that you have shared this video with someone else. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the kitchen.